Greetings and welcome to the Halloween edition of the Sliders Review. And I'm here today to talk to you about Batman the Animated Series Season 2 episode Moon of the Wolf. This is a very good, very tragic, very disturbing episode. It introduces us to two original new villains that the show created, Tony Romulus and Dr. Milo. And Dr. Milo will make another appearance later on in the series and also Justice League Unlimited. And so, what's so unique about this episode? It deals with a man who is a werewolf. This was written by the guy who made the Underworld movies. And you know that dude just loved his werewolves. Lin Wen, I believe his name is. And back then in that time, I didn't know who he was until the Underworld movies. And so with this, it deals with Batman at the zoo patrolling, and this one zookeeper type dude, security guard, gets attacked by a werewolf. Batman assumes that it's a man wearing a wolf costume. So he tells Gordon. And, that's predictable for him to think that because, he deals with a lot of like human people who dress up in these weird costumes. But then he starts to see that there are hairs on his gloves. So he's starting to wonder, could this be the real true thing? And so at some point in time, we see the werewolf bust into like this house on the dock, and Dr. Milo is there. He's acting like he's frightened at first until he starts looking at his watch, and he times it on the I forgot that phrase. Anyway, right on the mark, like the dude transforms back into human, and his name is like Tony Atlas. Apparently, what it is that he was a famous athlete back in the day. He's a retired Olympian. He wanted to be stronger, better than what he was. So what he did was he asked Milo to give him some steroids, but Milo's all like, no, that'd be detected. But he has something better, something he's created on his own using Timberwolf DNA and stuff. And so Tony just takes it impulsively to Milo's happiness and everything. So after that, he started winning big time, all kind of sporting events, everything, until one night he was in pain on a full moon. He halfway transformed into that of a werewolf. And Milo tells him, yo, man, there ain't no antidote. I can't cure the pre-stages of werewolfism, but I can cure the advanced stages of it. So he gives him another formula that turns him into a full-on werewolf. And he's like dark gray and everything like that, and he wears blue pants, which is funny because my Tony never wears blue pants, I don't think. Now, of course, Milo is evil, and you just can't trust him. Like, he's like underhanded. And so I remember when I saw this, I seriously thought both these characters were from the comics, but they're not. And I really like the Milo character. It's a shame. I don't even think he's in the comics yet. And they really should bring him into the comics, or at least in live action. And so basically with this is that they want to get Batman out of the way because Batman's snooping around and all this other stuff because he was there at the zoo for whatever reason and stuff, and he didn't even know the Timberlake wolves were like kidnapped and stuff. But basically they devise a way to get Batman out the picture. When Bruce is like working out at a gym, Tony's there, and people are shocked they haven't saw him in a while. And so he reveals that he's going to donate like a $200 million check to like a charity, but only if Batman picks it up. So like when Batman's investigating the Batcave and everything, Alfred's like fixing the car. At some point he heads out and go gets the check, but he doesn't want to. I like the different demeanor, between Bruce and Batman. Bruce is more chipper and everything, and Batman's more like, look, man, let's hurry and get this over if I gotta go. But then the fix is in because Batman starts to smell gas. He tries to get his gas mask, but he's out of time. When he wakes up, he sees that he's been tied to like the ground. And so there's a lot of continuity errors in like, this episode. Or at least a lot of editing errors, I should say. Not continuity, but like editing errors. Like when Batman passes out from the gas, we see like, Milo taking his utility belt off. But then when Batman wakes up, he has his utility belt on. That don't make no sense. And so he's chained to the ground and like, Tony's all like, the monster's gonna rip Batman to shreds and everything. Like, I guess he didn't sign up for that. But Milo don't care. And so he's all like, he wants the antidote. And he waves it in his face. It's like, you're gonna rip him to shreds. Well, he transforms and he turns on Milo, knocking the antidote out his hand. He throws Milo through like the building and stuff, and then he goes after Batman. So more errors in this thing. Okay, so he's wearing like Tony's wearing like a tan shirt, right? And when he transforms, all of a sudden it turns black and it's short. Milo has a certain jacket on throughout the entire episode, but then when he's outside, for some reason the jacket turns to a completely different shade of color and a completely different jacket. This is hand drawn back in the day. What the world happened? So anyway, Batman gets out of this in the weirdest way. One of his lock picks have fallen out of his utility belt or his glove or wherever he keeps it, and it's like literally laying beside him. Like, that's so convenient. That is so convenient. Well, he gets away and it's a fight. It's a hard fight. He can barely win. He's using like a 2x4, a chain. He cannot stop this werewolf. And he knows his days are matched. They're fighting on the roof. Bullock and like the cop show up. Bullock's kind of like, just let those two fight it out. And see, Bullock had arrested earlier that night the security guard that Batman saved earlier because he's the one who, turned the other way as they were still in the wolves for that experiment. So it's a huge, 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 huge fight. But Batman is able to get the upper hand by like swinging on like a chain on a ball, a hook to it. He pretty much just like sends it into like, the werewolf, and the werewolf goes into the ocean. Well, as Milo's being arrested and everything, he's all like, I'm innocent and you can't prove nothing. And everything. But, Bullet has the last laugh. And so they wonder if they're going to see the werewolf again. But Bullet makes the coolest phrase. He's all like, about 5 nights from now, there's another full moon, so we'll see and everything. I just love Bullet. Like how he like pulls up his collar, has his toothpick in his mouth, and says like the coolest lines and stuff. And so then time has passed, and Tony Atlas' house is being sold to pay off his debt. And the realtor explains to the people buying the house that they don't know what happened to him. He just suddenly just like packed up and left. But of course, we know what happened to him. He's still the werewolf, and most likely, I'm getting the impression that he has not turned back human, that he is fully werewolf now, because the drugs have been too much in his system, and he is unable to like control it. Either that, or since there's no antidote and Milo's been arrested, he can't just like live a normal life and everything. Poor dude, you gotta feel almost bad for him. Like, he cheated to be the best of the best, and it cost him his humanity. That's what I love about Batman villains. They're so tragic, That wasn't that spooky. Alright, well, I shall talk to y'all later. Bye.